What else you been up to this week?
Hey, Stormy, what are you doing today? You want an abortion?
Well, okay, so my brother was visiting, and, we can't, he's like, you get so worked up about there are people who are just like, okay, whatever. And it's like, I am so incensed. And, my mother used to always say, Judith, why are you getting your blood pressure up so much? It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable what is going on in this country. And that Paul Ryan is the Democrats. You're such a fucking weeble fucking, I hate you. And Mitch McConnell, seriously. These people are, and Pence is in love with Trump. Do you see the way he looks at him?
Yes,
he just
strange.
Stares at him like, oh my God. Oh, I just want to have anal with you. You're going to be out soon and I'm going to be president. It's, who are these people? Who are they?
It's been, there's a relentlessness. I mean,
Mike's obsessed with me. He wants anal with me. He wants prayer with me.
He wants me thrown out.
It's just overwhelming.
He wants me thrown in. He doesn't even know what he wants. It's all over the place.
He wants to be dominated. He wants to dominate. I can't get straight with him. No pun intended.
If there is, in fact, a government shutdown, it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out because, I was watching. I watched a clip of Jimmy Kimmel. Do a sketch. That with
the horse shit.
Yes, he did a sketch. Actually, we should almost play this, I think. But he did a sketch where he was explaining the government shutdown. And
it was good. It was really
good, and it was a good metaphor. But more importantly, it's like, wow, to see the effort that is being put in by sort of cultural figures to explain a government shutdown before it happens. To see, that to me is that could have a serious impact on the ability of the Democrats to sort of stay strong in the face of a shutdown, and Schumer's up on heading to the White House right now.
I know. And then asshole who wants to go to Mar-a-Lago for his $250,000 a plate or whatever it is, $100,000 a plate, dinner, whatever. He'll be like, I didn't go and I brought Schumer in and I saved the day. It's the bullshit that is put in our newspapers and on television, and that people fucking believe this shit. Did you read the New York Times yesterday?
With what?
The op-ed.
Oh, yes.
They said, we're going to devote our op-ed page to Trump supporters. No! I've heard enough fucking Trump supporters.
Vision, chutzpah, and some testosterone was what some of the readers said about Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the New York Times, can I just give a negative shout out to them for this headline about the discriminatory bills that are going to allow people to basically let trans people die if they want to? Trump gives health workers new religious liberty protections.
Right.
That's the headline in the New York Times.
Right. This is what's wrong with us lefty, liberal, bleeding heart Democrats. This is what's wrong. Oh, please love us. Oh, we don't want to hurt your feelings. We're done with that shit. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. We have to stop I don't want to offend you. Fuck offending them. Look at the shit they say. I'm done.
By those standards, Mike's a liberal Democrat. He's always asking to be loved.
Well, listen to one of the people who wrote in. Is from this guy Philip Mayman from Greenwich, Connecticut.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read that. Yeah, go ahead.
To the editor, I've voted twice in my life. Once for myself when I ran for Congress 10 years ago, and once for Donald Trump last year.
Once! He voted twice in his fucking life!
Virtually, and here we go.
It's going to be laminated in the White House.
But this is it, right? It's all stories of aggrievement. Virtually all of my friends or colleagues actively hate Mr. Trump. I'm a minority in every circle I move in. Says this white guy from Greenwich, Connecticut. I'm a minority in every circle I move in. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I have a PhD from the
you
University of
must move in a lot of
Chicago
circles.
and a
Yeah.
bachelor's and master's degree from Harvard. I'm a former hedge fund trader and now academic. I'm a journalist and author, and he's a minority in every circle he runs in.
So hard
Imagine-
for him. It's so hard for him.
Imagine being a Trump supporter in even one
And he's a
of those
professor.
circles.
He's a professor of analytics and finance.
Can
But,
you
hey,
imagine
can I just read
the
something?
horror of being a Trump supporter in a hedge fund trader circle?
Yeah, well,
Oh.
get out of your bubble for a second. Imagine this guy wants to make a fun fag joke. People wouldn't laugh.
Okay.
We
No one
learned to
has-
stay
Here's what I
quiet.
want to say.
Here, let me.
He was
How's he
born that
doing?
way.
I want to continue to read this. How he's doing? He has turned a fragile nation, quote unquote, anti-fragile. Before Mr.
Nice and
Trump,
solid.
we were scared of any volatility. Oh no, ISIS. Oh no, banks. The more chaos there was, the worse we were. Now, volatility is our friend. The more chaos, the better. Entrepreneurship up, optimism up. Good old American problem solving is back. You know who loves change? Capitalists. Mr. Trump has led us on that spiritual exodus. I mean, I don't even know how to respond to this.
You know what he does? I'll tell you what he does. He jerks off to a poster of himself when he ran for Congress 10 years ago. That's what he does. Okay?
I was the
That was
best.
fun. You know what really burns my
All right,
ass
wait.
about these letters is that they can have these Republican points of view for balance, but they can include any kind of significant representation of anti-war voices or social
Right.
democrat, even people who voted for Bernie in the primary. Like, where are we?
Or families that were ripped
Well,
apart
if
this
you
week.
look, I'm
Right.
sorry. If you look at the last one, Alexander Goldstein, one of my people.
I'm
He
still
says,
don't like you,
before I
Alexander.
respond to your questions, I have a question of my own. Did you run similar surveys for Obama voters? Or for that matter, Eisenhower voters? Trump voters are not circus freaks to be displayed or singled out. Yes,
Yeah, you are.
I mean, there's not a decent bone in his body. It's unbelievable. It's like this woman from Austin. What I like least about his presidency so far is the tweeting. It's often immature and lowers the tone of the debate while debasing the office of the presidency. That said, I think the media needs to be a lot more even-handed in its coverage of him and keep its personal opinions in check. Really?
Sometimes the tweeting
All you have
interferes.
to do is fucking show him talking. That's all you need. What personal opinion? It's common decency. Oh, sorry.
Sometimes
No.
the tweeting interferes with me ripping apart El Salvadoran and Haitian families. So
Yeah,
It's a fair
I get
point.
it. It's true. I get it.
How?
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos